Tonight on CTV News at 6. We remember. They put their lives on the line and continue to serve our country.
This is a very important day for Canadians.
On this Remembrance Day, we pause and pay tribute. Despite blustery conditions, tens of thousands attend the Remembrance Day ceremony in Ottawa. And a tribute of thanks.
We need to encourage our children to grow up and become soldiers of peace.
We take you to North Bay, a city with a long and proud military history.
CTV News at 6 with Tony Ryma and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. Glad you were with us on this Tuesday. This is a day to honor those who have served and those who continue to keep the true North strong and free. CTV's Lindsay Alec begins our Northern Remembrance Day coverage tonight in Sudbury.
Thousands of people filled the Sudbury Arena to mark another Remembrance Day. And while the arena wasn't full, it did see community members, young and old, gather to remember.
For everyone to see what goes on with the military that's going to be here today and all the other organizations that will be here. It's important. This is a very important day for Canadians, and I'd like to see more and more people in the arena for it.
It's so key that we gather today, and I know there's a lot of gatherings across our city, and that's great, and that's just a testament of how we care and how we give thanks.
Over 30 wreaths were laid during the ceremony. Laying the Silver Cross Mother's wreath was Jocelyn Tate. And while she didn't want to appear on camera, she said it was an honor after losing her son Jesse Tate to suicide in 2015. He served in the Canadian Armed Forces, having been deployed to Bosnia and Afghanistan.
To stand up there as a parent who has lost children and look at the Silver Cross Mother and the other families that have made that sacrifice, I don't know if I'd be that strong. It's not one day for them, it's every day. The loss doesn't go away, but hopefully the peace comes.
The Memorial Cross, more often referred to as the Silver Cross, was first authorized on December 1st, 1919, as a memento of the loss and sacrifice on the part of widows and mothers of Canadian sailors, aviators, and soldiers who died for their country in the war. Lindsay Alec, CTV News, Sudbury.
And we'll have more on Remembrance Day throughout our show. One person is in hospital and another injured after a fire at the homeless encampment at Energy Court in Sudbury. The fire was caused by propane heaters catching a tent and other materials on fire this morning. This isn't the first fire-causing injury at Energy Court. Last December, several propane tanks exploded, sending one woman to hospital. The tanks are commonly used for both heat and cooking. City officials say there are more than 200 people living outdoors across Sudbury. Energy Court is growing because it's close to amenities. In a statement to CTV, the Go Give project, which provides many services in Energy Court, says we've seen an increase in encampments, and while space and resources remain limited, our focus continues to be providing a safe, warm environment and support in accessing community services. We are working closely with community partners and emergency services to promote safety and prevent future incidents. After reviewing its Community Action Network program, the City of Greater Sudbury may be making some changes to how it supports community groups. We get more from CTV's Angela Gemmell.
Children can get in here and use their balance and, get it moving.
Brenda Koziel explains how this accessible playground equipment works. It was her community group that worked to add features to this municipal playground in the South End. She's optimistic about changes the city wants to make to how it supports community-led initiatives.
Kind of be free of some of the governance and things like that weren't fitting with some of the cans that were operating in the city. I see it as being positive because it has more flexibility, and it'll be more inclusive because it can include other community groups.
Recommendations will be going to City Council after a consultant reviewed the Community Action Network, or CAN, program. It found issues like complex governance, limited inclusivity, and overlap within the groups.
Some of the challenges that we faced in particular have been sometimes timely responses from the city, getting more volunteers, and actually getting the word out there about who we are and what we do.
The Levack Community Action Network has been operating for about 10 to 15 years. Its chair has issues with the city's current way of supporting CAN-led projects, including requiring leverage for projects.
When we submit something about our event afterwards and it asks, who did you leverage? The answer from us will always be nobody, especially for smaller events, because I don't want to have to go to my neighbors or my local businesses to ask for them to support our community. We already do that through taxes.
Instead of community action networks, a new community registry affiliate program is being proposed. Both Gorham and Koziel say more still needs to be worked out, but they're hopeful the city will work with the various cans to iron out those details. The report will be presented to City Council November 18th. If passed, the transition time for the new approach will run until early 2027. The city says CAN-led programs and activities will remain supported during that time. Angela Gamble, CTV News, Sudbury.
Police in Sudbury are providing results after week one of a 30-day initiative aimed at reducing open drug use and social disorder in the city's downtown. The strategy prioritizes connecting individuals experiencing addiction with support services before officers consider enforcement. Police say the downtown faces challenges like open drug use, intoxication, loitering, panhandling, and property crimes. The initiative is meant to address the safety challenges in the area.
We're not criminalizing addictions. What we are criminalizing is open air drug use, and those are two separate things. We want to support the addicted public. We believe in, harm reduction efforts and public health strategies. But again, we have to do our in-scope work, and that's going to be protecting and elevating the sense of safety in our downtown core.
Over the first week, officers provided support in 42 occurrences and addressed 16 drug-related calls. The initiative continues for the rest of the month. A long-time construction project in Timmins is over budget. City Council is meeting this hour to discuss a report from staff on the Golden Manor redevelopment project, which is nearly $9 million over budget. To read more on this story, visit CTVNewsNorthernOntario.ca. Parts of the region are getting snow, and Greater Sudbury Police are reminding the public of safe winter driving practices after several fender benders this morning. They say slow down and increase your distance when on snowy or icy roads and avoid sudden braking. Make sure your vehicle is clear of ice and snow before driving, and if you haven't installed your winter tires yet, police recommend making that appointment as soon as possible. And a slick morning commute for some this morning, but what about the drive home? To tell us more, here's CTV's Rick Wyman.
Should be better than this morning, Tony. I've got my snow tires. I certainly hope you have yours. Our systems map, courtesy of Environment Canada. Take a look at the band of precipitation moving into northeastern Ontario. Some snow, some rain. We call it sleet showers, flurries, and of course a variation in temperatures as well. There's a call for some snow overnight throughout the northeast. The amount not significant, but we'll get into that a little bit later on. We'll also talk about our current conditions. Rather interesting evening in some sectors. Not a bad night compared to last night. Warming up just a bit, but still far from those balmy days in October and before that in September. Back to you, Tony.
Thanks for that, Rick. Worthy recipients still to come on CTV News at 6. People in Greater Sudbury are honored for their good deeds by an MPP. And in Timmins, people pause and pay tribute in Remembrance Day ceremonies.
I'm from the South River area, and we have the, what was her name? It was Lance Corporal Francis Pegmababo, and he was like kind of known as the best sniper in all of World War I. He fought in the Algonquin Regiment in World War I, obviously. And I think it's really cool that he's from our area.
You see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
The South Porcupine and Timmins branches of the Royal Canadian Legion held Remembrance Day ceremonies at their respective cenotaphs today. Several groups and organizations laid wreaths, including a Silver Cross mother. The parade commander and Sergeant-at-Arms for Branch 88 says she's organized the ceremony in Timmins since 1991 and is pleased with this year's turnout. Andrea Villeneuve says it's important to remember the sacrifices of veterans and those in the service.
I think with all the turmoil that's happening around the world and in the Americas, of course, because like I mentioned, this year we're really concentrating on the Americas. It is important to know what's going on with our neighbors down south. And we need to be there to support the people that need their help.
New this year, 2 cadets and their band instructor played the national anthem on drums and a xylophone. A Sault Ste. Marie cafe and social enterprise that celebrated its first year in operation this weekend is now temporarily closed. Cafe for Good officials claim difficulties with their government funding is at the root of the closure and the layoff of almost all of their staff. The Queen Street business had been receiving funds from the federal government's Public Safety Canada Youth Crime Prevention Fund. The cafe aims to be a training ground for locals aged 16 to 25 to learn skills in the hospitality sector while also learning life skills and getting a free meal with each shift. Now the cafe's doors are closed after a government audit disapproved of using supplies and materials money to purchase food that would be sold at the business. Cafe executives were told recently they would hear back in 3 to 5 business days. That was 6 business days ago. Government officials are reviewing their funding eligibility, questioning if the cafe is making a difference in public safety.
Youth unemployment as of 2022 was at 23% in Sault Ste. Marie, and we have reason to believe it's higher right now, which is huge. If you cannot get a job and you cannot make money legally, you're going to do something stupid and you're going to make money illegally or find the thing you need illegally. You're also probably going to be really depressed and self-medicating, right?
Silva says they used the last of their funds to pay out staff and are now offering catering and space rentals of the cafe. The Science Village in Timmins is a place for children and families to learn about science, but the center is located near the site of a murder. Officials say they've made the difficult decision to ask clients and visitors to call the center before they show up. Reservations could also be made by visiting their website. Last week, Timmins police say 2 men were shot and 1 died in the apartment building at the corner of 5th Avenue and Cedar Street North, across the street from Science Village. Science officials say they want to ensure everyone's safety after some patrons told them they'd think twice about going to the center after the recent incident.
Someone's coming, but that way we can make sure that there's no one in the close area. And we ask, if there is, we ask them to leave. If they don't leave, we ask for police assistance. And that way, wherever our clients come and they want to enjoy the Science Village, they don't have to worry. And we don't have to worry.
Science Village officials say so far response from people has been positive about the new rule, which will be in effect until at least the end of the month. The 5th annual Sudbury Good Neighbor Awards were held last night by MPP Jamie West. Those awards recognize outstanding citizens in the riding. CTV's Madison Merrier shares the story.
Award winners for the Incredible Individuals category were with friends and family of all ages on their big night, cheering on other winners.
The Good Neighbors Award, and it was neighbors nominating neighbors, so it wasn't a politician picking out people, it was the community recognizing people in our community.
The award is not just about the people receiving the award, but also those who nominated them.
There's people who are nominating them who recognize how good they are, and so it just lifts our spirits. It's rewarding for us as much as it is for the people who are winning.
I work to serve my community, and it's an honor to be to receive this nomination, receive this award. but it's for the community members that are sleeping outside that I'm here right now, and I'm trying to get awareness out for that because we have children sleeping outside, and I take that home with me.
It feels incredible. I think everyone in Greater Sudbury needs to know who Melissa is. She does so much work for everyone who's still actively in addiction and struggling, and I think she really touches very many people's hearts and just gives everyone hope that there is, a chance to change.
West says that Sudbury is a community that cares, and these feel-good awards are a reflection of the community.
The number of times where we reach out to the person, because sometimes they don't know they've been nominated, and they'll say, like, I didn't do this for an award. And we're like, yeah, but just somebody wants to recognize your good work. It is important to look for the good. It's important to remind yourself that there's good people out there doing good stuff.
Although this dinner was where most individual winners were recognized, private recognitions are still happening, and the Outstanding Organization Awards are still being handed out. Madison Marier, CTV News, Sudbury.
All right, back now for a check on your current conditions. Here's Rick.
Thank you for that, Tony. We've got some precipitation moving in between snow and rain, some sleet for the next couple of days before they actually clear up in terms of conditions with a little bit of sunshine. Let's check out some of the current temperatures right now. Right across the northeast, let's begin as we always do in Moose City at -7, Cochrane -7, and Timmins at -6, Kapuskasing -7 as well. All the temperatures, by the way, are factored in with the wind chill. Some light precipitation in Chapleau at -7, Wawa some light snow -3, and Sault Ste. Marie some flurries at -4. Meanwhile, Parry Sound 0 right now this hour. Just a few clouds in the forecast. Meanwhile, in North Bay, few clouds -4, Temiskaming Shores -5, and Kirkland Lake at -4 this hour. Greater Sudbury Nickel Belt -4. Few clouds. We've got some clouds in Espanola -2, Elliott Lake -2, and Gore Bay some light rain this hour. Sorry about that. Light rain. Here we go. -3 degrees. Tony, 7-day forecast and our pick of the day coming up.
Can't wait. Thanks so much for that, Rick. On a cold November day, next on CTV News at 6, we take you to Ottawa, where an estimated 30,000 people attended the National Remembrance Day ceremony, and the U.S. Senate reached a deal to end the longest shutdown in history.
Besides sharing in a moment of silence and reflecting on the past, I like to read about past veterans or speak to them if I have the opportunity.
In Ottawa, Remembrance Day was held at the National War Memorial. Veterans of all wars and peace support operations took part in the Veterans Parade marching in downtown Ottawa. Veterans Affairs Canada estimates that as of this year, there are nearly 3,700 surviving veterans of the Second World War. As the clock approached 11 o'clock Eastern Time, the last post was played. This Remembrance Day also marks 80 years since the end of the Second World War and 25 years since the entombment of Canada's unknown soldier, a First World War combatant who remains unidentified. The tomb honors the more than 118,000 Canadians who sacrificed their lives in service to their country. And this year's National Silver Cross mother is Nancy Payne. Her son, Corporal Randy Joseph Payne, was killed by a roadside bomb in Afghanistan in 2006, just 3 months into his deployment. Payne laid a wreath on behalf of all mothers who have lost a child in service of Canada. And Canada's Indigenous peoples made contributions every bit as significant as anyone else in the world wars, but their stories often don't get the same level of attention. CTV's Ryan McDonald reports.
Within this room at the Member 2 Trade and Convention Centre, the contributions of Indigenous soldiers in various wars over the years was well remembered today. But outside of First Nations communities, it might be a different story.
No, I don't believe it is.
Member 2 Chief Terry Paul is among those who feels that even on Remembrance Day, Indigenous veterans are largely forgotten.
It is too bad. Like, you know, we're all people. We're all equal. We all should be equal, and that we should all respect each other. And we have a ways to go to make right for Indigenous veterans in this country.
When they enlisted, they were not recognized as Canadian citizens.
Mi'kmaq educator Jarvis Gugu says hundreds of Mi'kmaq soldiers fought in the First and Second World Wars and the Korean War, even though they wouldn't be allowed to vote in this country until 1960.
It's the ultimate patriot, or you're not even recognized as a citizen of your country. You're treated as second class, and you're still willing to serve for it.
Myself, coming here 12 years ago, I had no idea of the extent to which the Indigenous community had participated in all of the wars.
Father Bill Burke has been the pastor at St. Anne's Parish in Membertou for more than a decade. He says the annual service here each November 11th with a nice meal in a big ballroom is testament to the community's commitment to remembrance.
It never weakened here in Membertou. It was always strong, and it never weakened even when it was doing so in the rest of the country. They always had a great sense of gratitude to those who had gone before.
Indigenous Veterans Day is marked in this country each November 8th, and the hundreds gathered here in Membertou were ensuring their ancestors who served were remembered today as well. Ryan McDonald, CTV News on the Membertou First Nation.
Ontario and the federal government have agreed to a one-year extension for the national $10 a day childcare program. The agreement also includes $695 million in additional funding from Ottawa. The program had been set to expire March 31st, but now the extension reassures parents in the province that their fees won't rise for at least another 12 months. Most provinces and territories signed extensions with the federal government for this year's federal election, but Ontario had only signed an agreement in principle to continue the program. Canada is hosting G7 ministers in the Niagara region today for talks on economic and security challenges. Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand, along with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and other ministers from the group of 7 countries, were in attendance. Anand said she would be making the case for multilateralism and wants to ensure Canada remains a leader on the world stage. The ministers will be tackling challenges ranging from Russia's ongoing aggression in Ukraine and the fragile ceasefire in Gaza. The U.S. Senate has approved a compromise agreement that would bring an end to the longest government shutdown in American history.
On this vote, the ayes are 60, the nays are 40. The bill as amended is passed.
The vote passed with the support of 8 Democrats. It now heads to the Republican-controlled House of Representatives. Once it passes the House, it will be sent to President Trump, who will sign it into law. The deal restores funding for federal agencies and would restore critical services such as federal food aid, such as the SNAP program. In the meantime, flight delays and cancellations are mounting at U.S. airports, with the situation expected to get worse in the coming days.
We were supposed to fly out of New York Airport yesterday at LaGuardia at 5 o'clock, and we got delayed until 9 p.m. and then they canceled the flight and sent us here to reroute through Denver to get to Iowa.
It was madness, craziness. Everybody was pissed. Yeah, it was not a pleasant experience at all.
Today, the Federal Aviation Administration will increase the number of flights being cut at 40 airports to 6% as it deals with continuing air traffic control staffing shortages. That number will rise to 10% on Friday. And there's more news still ahead, but first, here's your full weather forecast with Rick.
And a rather unusual pick of the day, which we'll get to momentarily. Forecast radar, some precipitation moving into the northeast, Tony. Some snow and rain, some sleet in the forecast, and of course, that will change in a couple of days. Some sunshine, but some cooler temperatures as well. Meanwhile, overnight, this is what we've got going. As I mentioned earlier, some snow, or at least the chance of snow. Greater Sudbury, Sault Ste. Marie, flurries in Timmins. Temiskaming Shores, some snow, and North Bay, some snow as well. Meanwhile, in Moosehead, some cloud cover, -11. That's chilly. Kapuskasing-Hearst, -7. Wawa, -3. Some snow, chance of flurries in Gore Bay. Coming off some light rain right now. Perry Sound 1, rain or snow mix. 7-day forecast, Sudbury Nickel Belt, chance of sleet for a couple of days at 3, 1 degree on Friday with sunny skies. Saturday, some cloud cover at 2, 4 degrees. Sunday with the chance of showers. Meanwhile, in Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, chance of sleet for 2 days. 3 and 5 your daytime highs. Friday, some sunshine at 4. 6 on Saturday, cloud cover. Sunday, chance of showers at 5 and 5 on Monday. Some sun and cloud as well. Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, chance of flurries for a couple of days. Your highs of 1, 0 Friday, sun and cloud. Saturday, cloud cover at 1, 3 on Sunday. Chance of sleet at 40%, and Monday, some sun and cloud, -1 as well. Temiskaming Shores, Kirkland Lake, chance of snow for tomorrow at 60%. Daytime high of 3, 1 on Thursday, chance of flurries. Friday, sun and cloud -1. 1 Saturday, the cloud cover there. Sunday, chance of sleet at 40% with a high of 3, and 0 Monday, some sun and cloud. And a look now at what's happening in North Bay, West Nipissing, chance of sleet at 60% tomorrow. That's a pretty good bet there. 3 degrees your expected high. Rain snow mix Thursday at 2, 1 on Friday, chance of flurries. Saturday, cloud cover 1, chance of showers. Sunday at 4, and 2 Monday, sun and cloud. Pick of the day, you'll like this one. We like to call it pancake ice formation. Thank you, John, for this. Chippewa Creek in North Bay. Pancake ice occurs when the ice is still newly formed, according to Brian Jackson. He says when ice is young, it's more willing to be formed into different shapes and patterns. As it grows thicker, it tends to crack and crumble more. Brian Jackson, of course, a meteorologist with the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. So again, John, thank you for that pick. And there is your actual explanation, courtesy of Brian Jackson. Again, he's a meteorologist. He's one up on me when it comes to knowing all about this stuff. Hey, stick around. Ask an Expert is coming up next. Welcome back to Ask an Expert. Tonight, we're taking care of your teeth, and there's only one person who can tell you how to do that this evening. You'll meet her in just a moment. Let's go back just a couple of days. Last week, of course, we dealt with Halloween candy. Now, Christmas is approaching, and all kinds of candy will be in the household. So, Terry Gaynor from Cambrian College, and Terry looks after the Cambrian College Free Community Clinic. Candy galore for the kids and maybe even for some of the adults. Thanks for dropping by.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so maybe it's something I've been doing wrong all my life, but there is a proper way to brush your teeth, and I'm sure you have some inside tips as to how to do that and how not to brush your teeth. Let's begin with that.
So we really should be brushing for 2 minutes twice a day. For most people, brushing downward for their upper teeth and upward for their lower teeth is good. What you want to avoid is a scrubbing motion. It's not effective, and it does damage to your teeth and gums. But really, you should talk to your dental hygienist. They'll let you know what technique is right for you. You also want to be gentle. Light pressure is all we need. We're not sanding wood here. So if you're using a manual toothbrush, it should be soft bristles. Hard bristles, again, just do more damage. If you're using an electric toothbrush, the weight of the brush is enough. Use a fingertip grasp. Let the brush do all its work.
Okay, I want to talk to you about something that's come of age lately. It's called a water pick, at least by the trade name, or as I'd like to call it, a pressure washer for your mouth. How do you feel about the use of a water pick system?
They're great tools. In conjunction with brushing, they work wonderfully, especially for people who have braces, extensive dental work like crowns and bridges, or anyone who needs that little bit of extra TLC to keep their gums healthy.
Terry, let's talk about the clinic here. It's free for people who may need the dental services, so what's available?
So we do have a free dental hygiene clinic. It's available to anyone in the community, from children to seniors. We're not a dental clinic, so we don't provide fillings or extractions or braces. We do have a dentist who can do an exam or prescribe x-rays if needed. Our dental hygiene students, under the supervision of registered dental hygienists and licensed dentists, they can provide such treatment as dental cleanings, dental hygiene assessments, pit and fissure sealants, x-rays, fluoride treatment, and for a nominal fee they can also provide sports mouth guards and tooth whitening.
Now, the dental assistant program is coming back to Cambrian College. For those who don't know, what does a dental assistant do?
Yes, we're very excited. So a dental assistant is an integral part of the dental team. They support the dentist and the clinical staff. They work chairside with the dentist performing treatment. They can take x-rays. They manage infection control, inventory supply. They can do administrative duties. They really help an office flow smoothly. There's a need in our community, and we're really happy to provide a program that's going to meet that need.
Terry, thanks for doing this. And of course, we offer the opportunity for those viewing this evening to get more information on the college website. Again, it's a free community clinic, and it's to your benefit to have clean and pearly white teeth. That's our segment for tonight. For more information, please check out our website at CTVNewsNorthernOntario.ca for tonight's episode and past episodes of Ask an Expert.
Thanks for that, Rick. Remembrance Day in Sault Ste. Marie saw hundreds of people at GFL Memorial Gardens. Veterans, Legion members, cadets, and others lined the floor of the gardens, with many more filling the stands. The sights and sounds, a stark reminder of those lost and the spirit of remembrance from O Canada to the Last Post, and the reading of In Flanders Fields. The Silver Cross Mother laid the first wreath, followed by many others. Officials say the strong turnout matters deeply to those in uniform.
It's easy enough to say things, it's a lot harder to do things. When people take the time out of their day, whether they're here, whether they take the time to view it on TV at home, or whether they attend services other places, it's important to the serving members and veterans, as well as the family, because again, it's a visual reminder and support that the country and the nation is grateful for the sacrifice that they made.
And this year saw significant restoration work to the Sioux's main cenotaph, as well as the addition of 71 names to the memorial. The William Merrifield cast of a citation was also back on display after the original was stolen. This year, it wasn't only veterans being remembered. Yesterday marked the 50th anniversary of the sinking of the Edmund Fitzgerald. Last night, a special remembrance service was held in Whitefish Point, Michigan, marking the tragedy on Lake Superior. The event was held by the Great Lakes Shipwreck Museum and included family members of the 29 men who died when the vessel went down on November 10th, 1975. The freighter was heading from Wisconsin to Detroit carrying iron ore when it was damaged by a storm. A researcher who spoke at the service says only those on board truly know what happened, but the brutal storm played a big role.
It was the worst storm in a century, with 100-mile-per-hour winds and waves up to 30, 40, 50, even 60 feet high that night. We now figured that out with computer models we did not have access to 20 or 30 years ago. That is a very big reason, of course, why the ship went down naturally.
And the Edmund Fitzgerald remains the largest ship to ever sink in Lake Superior. Under Canadian law, the wreck is protected as a gravesite, banning unauthorized dives there. Concerns about the flu still ahead on CTV News at 6. Do you have your shot yet? Some are worried about the flu season in Ontario.
My period in the service was the Cold War times, and you may remember the Cuban Havana carry-on that went on. It was very close to somebody pulling the trigger, so it was a pretty tense period of time.
Clothing provided by Laura, Melanie Lynn.
And welcome back. You're watching CTV News at 6. I'm Tony Ryma. The future of farming could involve self-driving robots. Researchers from the University of Manitoba's Robot Autonomy Lab designed a prototype that's meant to think on its feet.
The soil is almost frozen, and we have the ice and snow on top of that. We have more slippery, but our AI model learn about the dynamics when it moves. So it's just keep the similar accuracy.
The robot uses artificial intelligence and is able to handle the bumps and other surprises that come with navigating real prairie fields, including frozen ones. More testing is still required to fine-tune the prototype for future use, but researchers say they hope one day it'll help make farming more efficient, precise, and safe. Medical professionals are predicting a nasty flu season after seeing Australia's experiences over our summer months. CTV's Pauline Chan has more.
Canadian experts are saying the message from down under is get your flu shots now.
They had a very, very bad year, one of the worst years on record. And the reason that occurs is a combination of factors that we don't completely understand, but it does have to do with how many people are unvaccinated and it's susceptible, and the specific strain of flu that's circulating that year. And just as a reminder, you're not protected for this year's strain from last year's vaccination.
The Australian data published in September showed that this season, the flu vaccine reduced the risk of hospitalization by half.
Dr. Jerome Lee says each year Canada sees 15,000 to 20,000 hospitalizations for influenza and 3,000 to 4,000 deaths.
They had their lowest vaccine rates in Australia for like the past 5 years. So again, that's not a coincidence. If you underachieve in vaccination, you have a tougher season, and in particular, you see more hospitalizations and deaths.
He says Sunnybrook and other Ontario hospitals are already seeing a jump in flu cases a good 2 weeks earlier than usual.
The challenge here is that if flu season's already upon us, and especially if it comes a month earlier, we will be less prepared, and there could be significant impacts to the healthcare system. It takes 14 days for the flu vaccine to take full effect. We really don't have much time to get vaccines into arms.
Everyone over age 6 months is encouraged to get their free flu shot, and high-dose flu shots are available for seniors. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
On Thursday night, the Professional Women's Hockey League will kick off the league's exhibition season with 2 new expansion teams on the West Coast. In Toronto, the Scepters are running training camp in preparation for the PWHL's 3rd season. CTV's Sean Leathong has the details.
At the start of training camp, Toronto Scepter star Natalie Spooner says the 3rd year in the Professional Women's Hockey League is about growth.
I think every year it's like you want to make it bigger and better than it was the year before. And I think after the first year, we thought, wow, how is the second year going to be even able to keep up with the first year? But then we saw the second year and all the, the games that sold out so fast and what we were able to do in that year. So I think, now with expansion and there's just so much more excitement too.
This year, the PWHL is expanding from 6 to 8 teams, adding clubs in Vancouver and Seattle.
The PWHL is expanding, and that's just so good for our sport in general. I think the more teams there are, there's more fans, there's more accessibility around the whole world.
Toronto lost Sarah Nurse to free agency and 3 more players in the expansion draft.
It definitely feels like there's some changes, but heading into season 3, I think we've built a really solid foundation over the last 2 years.
There are 15 returning players from last season. For a team that wanted to win the ultimate prize, they'll be working to gel quickly.
We have so many new players on our team and in our locker room that I think our identity is going to be something that we're working on here over the next few weeks.
But as the league grows and rosters change quickly, players who have worked so hard to get this league off the ground say now is only about that one goal.
I think it's a win now league. Year 1, you're just taking it all in. You always want to win, but year 1, you're just taking it in. Year 2, you're hungrier. And you still don't win the Walter Cup. Year 3, you want to win it, so you're going to put everything out there to win.
Obviously, our goal coming in is we want to win the Walter Cup. We've, fallen short the last 2 years, but I think we also realized that the start of our last 2 seasons has got away from us.
And the Scepters will have to move quickly as training camp is just a week and a half long, with the season starting on November 21st against the 2-time defending Walter Cup champion, Minnesota Frost. Sean Leathong, CTV News.
Entertainment brought to you by the Cinefest Red Carpet Patron Program.
Michael Jackson is topping the Billboard charts and setting a record while doing it. Rick Damagella has more in tonight's Hollywood Report.
Michael Jackson is back on the charts. Billboard reports Jackson's classic Thriller returned to the top 10 of the Hot 100 singles charts this week. Jackson is now the first music artist to reach the top 10 in 6 different decades. Tell me, did you sail across the sun? More music news as Train hits the concert trail. The band will roll out on its Drops of Jupiter 25 Years in the Atmosphere tour next summer, celebrating the 25th anniversary of the double Grammy-winning single and album. Special guests Bare Naked Ladies and Matt Nathanson will join Train on the tour.
You should know that strange occurrences do happen here.
There's nothing strange about a classic returning to cinemas. Hayao Miyazaki's The Boy and the Heron returns to movie screens this week as the final release of Studio Ghibli Fest 2025. Locations and showtimes at fathomentertainment.com. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
We have ability to show of strength and ability to actually show everyone that remembrance is not only for one's self-pride, but for the country.
With Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and December festivities nearing, a rising cost of living in Canada is expected to challenge Canadian spending habits this holiday season. A new survey by insolvency firm Harris & Partners suggests Canadians are preparing for a more modest Christmas this year. Nearly 72% of the more than 1,800 Canadians surveyed in November say they'll cut back on Christmas spending, and 85% expect to adhere to a strict budget this season. More than half of those polled also reported feeling financially unprepared for the holidays. Cineplex is trying to lure more Canadians back to the theater by offering cheaper tickets on Mondays. But there's a catch. BNN Bloomberg's Marella Fernandez has more on that.
The company is launching Monday surprise premieres. So you get a cheaper ticket, but you also don't know what movie you're going to see. A movie ticket typically runs around $16, but on Mondays they will be $8.99. For that, moviegoers will get to see a new major release, but they won't find out which one until they take their seats. Cineplex is trying out new things to make money as it battles against streaming services. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is up a fraction to 71.36. West Texas Intermediate crude is up to 61.01. Western Canadian Select is up a bit to 48.29. And the TSX gained 92 points to end the day at 30,409. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marella Fernandez.
And here are the current prices for some key commodities we watch. Gold up $11.04, closing the day at $41.2694 US an ounce. Silver up 71 cents to end the day at $51.22. Copper, no change. And nickel down a penny, ending the day at $6.75 US a pound. And Rick is back now for one last look at your Wednesday weather.
Okay, we've got some precipitation in the forecast. Let's check out some of the conditions for tomorrow. 3 degrees, we got the chance of sleet in Greater Sudbury at 60%. And again, +1 in Timmins. Flurry activity, sleet back in Sault Ste. Marie as well, so at 3 degrees. Meanwhile, in North Bay for tomorrow, 3 degrees, chance of sleet, showers in Parry Sound at 5, and the chance of snow in Temiskaming Shore is 60%. That's a pretty good bet, Tony. The temperature 3 degrees, so the temperature goes up, and of course we get that mixed precipitation between shower activity and some snow flurries all mixed in together. A little bit of a mess going on weather-wise. Back to you.
How true. I just want to say one thing. You talked about snow tires, winter tires. I got mine on. You got yours on too?
Yes, sir.
Good man.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Good man. Thinking ahead. That's so important, folks. Get your winter tires on. And finally, CTV's Eric Tashner finishes our Remembrance Day coverage tonight in North Bay.
Thank you very much. It's a tribute of thanks. Nice! From brother and sister duo Charlie and Colton Giroux, handing out painted poppy rocks to servicemen and women and veterans.
They said thank you and thank you for your support. It makes me feel good.
To say veteran Barbara Smith comes from a military family is an understatement. Her brothers served in the Canadian Armed Forces. Her grandfather fought in the First World War, and her father helped liberate the Netherlands from the Nazi regime.
There was a fellow here in North Bay. Every time I went to the Legion Branch 23, he would come over to me and he would tell me, "Your father saved my life." I'm so blessed to know that about my dad.
An arena normally buzzing with noise fell to complete silence as the notes of the last post rang out. Every year, there are fewer and fewer World War II veterans. Veterans Affairs Canada estimates there are only 3,700 surviving Canadian veterans of the Second World War.
When I think back, the Canadians are first-class troops.
We need to encourage our children to grow up and become soldiers of peace.
North Bay has a large military legacy, currently with 400 servicemen and women stationed at 22 Wing Canadian Forces Base.
We're so proud of the work we do, and then, when we have this upheaval of support from Canadians, it means an awful lot to us.
At a time of conflict with ongoing wars in other parts around the world, Oldford says other free societies continue to look to Canada as a beacon of light and hope.
The global environment will change, and whenever that happens, you can be rest assured that the Canadian Air Defence sector is prepared to meet that challenge.
As another Remembrance Day comes to an end, the turnout here in North Bay serves as a reminder that this city will never forget. Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
Thanks for that, Eric, and thank you to all who have served our country and those who continue to serve. We leave you tonight now with some of the highlights from Remembrance Day ceremonies across the region. Good night.
To your safety.
First Class McNulty.